Hopefully this is working today. We weren't very successful yesterday. Which mic are we on? Yes, we're on this mic. Right. Age of Empires 2. Let's see if this works. Oh, dependencies. Where's it gone? No. Oh, there we go. Good. So far, so good. At least dedicated. Okay. Don't know what you need 2 gigs of dedicated VRAM for. That's worrying. Asnivore, hello.
Hello.
You might be on a stream. Say knob end so I can see if your audio is working.
Knob end.
Knob end. I think you're in the mix. I'm just going to change the mixer settings because this game's very loud. There we go. That should be better. How are you this evening?
I'm alright. Working. Pretend working.
Pretend working from home.
Well, I'm actually in the office, so it's even more pretend working.
So I'll tell you something interesting. I went for a walk just now because I am now officially out of quarantine.
Nice.
So I tell you what though, what's really weird about it, I feel so mentally energized now. I feel so happy. And it's amazing to think how you don't appreciate a little thing of having the option to go outside. I know you could just do it but I'm lawful good in my D&D. But yeah, it's quite the day. Rob Taylor, hello Rob. Evan, afternoon. Did you ever play Age of Empires back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was mandatory, wasn't it?
And the one that was the same game with the Star Wars stuff.
Yes, I liked all of those. But I'm trying to think. Do you ever remember what Age of Empires 1 was like? Because I can't remember in my head at all.
No, I never played that.
And I don't know what civilizations you want. I don't know any of that. So I'm just going to hit start game on this one. I like how my lack of green screen. I can't be bothered with all of that. I'm just happy to get my Logitech camera working again. It's refusing to work with a particular USB port now for some reason. It always seems to be quite common that devices become fickle to a particular port, and if you just shove it into the neighbouring one, it's okay again. Okay, well this looks all pretty standard actually. I thought it was all going to be 3D enhanced and stuff, but it looks like the exact same game. Rob, you had never played Age of Empires because it wasn't on the Amiga. You're all about the Amiga. So if you haven't played this game, basically you have to create villagers, and then villagers go and chop wood or get berries, and you just build up your base like any RTS. But the best bit was, if you had the right technology tree, which I can't remember which these guys are, you build massive walls around everything and trebuchets. That was always the technique at the end, a bit like StarCraft where you send in all your siege tanks. House. Let's build a house. Oh, I like the grid. I don't remember that. Now, I do remember, I don't think Age of Empires had a build queue, and I'm going to hold down Shift. Yeah, and I think that was something they added later in a pack where you could do a build queue. I never understood. Oh, I like the zoom. I never understood games which didn't allow you to do a decent build queue. So Rob, what are you up to today? Are you playing with PCBs? Rob, tell me about EVE Online though. I remember looking at that game and thinking that looks amazing, but everybody tells me it's just like spreadsheets in space. It's like you're just playing Microsoft Excel all the time. Get me that duck meat. Oh, nobody's building the houses. That was weird. I assumed if you just selected buildings to be built, then somebody would start building them, but maybe I deselected them. So you've got the various research trees in this as well. Let's try WA at note. WSD doesn't work. Arrow keys. Okay, so now you've got hovels. You can start building more people. Oh my gosh, Rob, that's terrible. So it sounds like a second job. I used to not like the simple aspect in Elite, where you just had to work out what was the best commodity to bring. So having to do all that just would drive me balmy. I don't think I could face it. Earlier tonight, though, I did try Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. That did eventually install, but apparently my system's no longer capable of playing these modern games. It was like a crisis for my machine. But I looked at the specs, yeah. I think it's only just graphics card. I'm not sure if it's feasible if I only just change my graphics card. And it seems like if I just dump £150 on a commodity graphics card, they'll outperform my existing ones so much that I'll just be able to play all those modern games again. Because it looks like the CPU and memory aren't necessarily a bandwidth limit in this. It's actually just the GPU. So I'm in two minds about it. I don't really want to spend any more money this month. And if I do spend money, do you spend money on that 150 quid graphics card, or that 200 pounds graphics card, or that 400 pounds graphics card? You know, what really is going to last longer? Or, you know, or do you just say I'm going to, let's say a graphics card's 400 pounds. I mean, you could just keep buying the next 150 quid graphics card, couldn't you? Every year. You'd probably be able to keep up that way. It's tricky. Hey Sam, how's it going? No, Sam, you must have missed it, Sam. I just said this is the first time I've been outside of quarantine now, and I'm in such a really good mood. I just want to play games. I want to be productive, and it's like a switch in my brain is flicked. And I speak to my wife about it and about how I enjoyed streaming. She said, "Why don't you just stream now?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I'll probably just." What I've been doing most nights for the last 5 months is just sitting on the bed watching YouTube, looking at Reddit on my phone and feeling glum. And now I feel happy. So playing games is where I want to be right now.
Reddit will do that to you.
Sorry, say again?
Reddit will do that to you.
Reddit.
Do
you think it's because Reddit shows you the worst of everything? I should just uninstall Reddit, shouldn't I?
You've got Reddit installed. I suppose there's that enhancement suite in the browser.
I have it on my phone.
Okay.
But, you know, the problem is with Reddit is I like to look at it because it does have like those specialist subreddits I'm interested in. that sounds really dodgy. Those specialist subreddits I like. But the front page is always full of vitriol and politics, isn't it? And people getting hurt or whatever. It's like as if you're just reading the Daily Mail and being outraged at everything. So Rob's saying, what's this John was trying to contact aliens thing on Netflix? I never heard of that. Is that actually what it's called? Okay, so I need to build a mill. Use to deposit food and research farming. Well, that's good, because if we build a mill, we can probably start planting crops, because we're going to run out of berries soon enough. And there's not really any wood around here, so I'm going to send one of my dudes. Actually, I shouldn't send that one. We've got 2 fresh ones here doing nothing. Go and have a look. Ah, but Sea Cows, that assumes you want to use Reddit publicly. I kind of like to use Reddit anonymously because I'm always afraid that if I use my back office show one, I might accidentally like something that you don't want in your like history. You could accidentally like something political or something and someone will take umbrage to it. But maybe I could just set up some sort of sock puppet account, I suppose.
Those always were the best things about Reddit, the joke accounts that people were quite stern with.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could have these joke accounts too that just people in your inner circle know it's you, just causing mischief. But it's like plausibly deniable from a work standpoint. Sam, that's a very motivating statement. I'm going to read that out, actually. It's quite good. Never feel glum. If you're down, come online. Life is far too short to be down, and there's zero excuse to ever be bored in life. It's all there for you. It's down to you and us to discover. Well, I tell you what, there's enough crap here unfinished that I agree that I should never be bored. It's being motivated. I don't think I'm at the... Now... Asnavo, if you're not motivated to do something, is that the same as being bored? It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm never bored.
Yeah.
I can always, find something to entertain myself with. But being motivated is actually getting stuff done that you need to get done. And I'm not always that good at that.
It's acknowledging that. That's what getting older and wiser is, knowing that. When someone asks you something and you go, "Nah, I don't think I'll be interested in doing that." But at least you're being honest, aren't you? Do you want to come out to this, I don't know, show or something? You're like, nah, not really interested in that. Right, I can plant a farm now. Oh, a mining camp. We can build a mining camp. That's what we need. And what else do we need? Because we're going to have to do some battles soon. I saw some red bad guys there. Right. So Sea Cows, though, you're also interested in Reddit. So let us know what's some of your subreddits you're into. I'd be interested. I might not be aware of them and I might add them to my list. There's always a subreddit for somebody, right? Becky, how do I tell people? This is what I don't get. If you don't have that bell ticked in YouTube, it really doesn't push it out anymore. I remember when I used to get emails from YouTube when someone would make a video, but I don't get anything now from any of the channels. Even the channels I'm sub to, YouTube seems to go out of their way to make it difficult for me to bloody find. Honestly, YouTube just push on their front page whatever dross they're trying to show, right, from PewDiePie or whatever. And when I go to my subscriptions, it'll show like, I don't know, AVGN or whatever, with loads of videos that I didn't watch. Just totally unaware of it, even though I've hit all the bell icons and I'm subscribed. Ooh, creepy ask Reddit. Becky, you need to complain to YouTube. I'll back you up with that though. Yeah, I tell you what, YouTube, I think they're trying to become like a broadcaster. I think they're trying to be a Netflix, so they're pushing down the sort of dross content like this, and they're only promoting the ones which are more like kind of high production values and have scripts and put Simon Whistler. Anything with Simon Whistler and his 200 YouTube channels. That guy must be on like £500,000 a year just from YouTube takings. Right, now I can build a militia. Now the interesting thing is, if you build... Oh, I've got to get gold now. I've got to find a gold mine. If you build militia, when you put them into outposts, I believe they can still fire arrows, so you don't have to have archers necessarily, which is kind of cool. Right. Got farms, but nobody's farming them. So you've got to be careful of that. If you queue building structures, even though they might get built, if they're like a farm where they need somebody, then you have to still assign a peasant, a peon, to do the work. Right. It's time to start going out and about. We need to find a gold mine. Hey ZX Renew, how is it going? How is the weather where you are? Simon Whistler, yeah, he looks, I don't know, he's got that Vsauce retro man cave Neil type look about him. I think beard, bald. I think that if you look at his professional profile, I think he's doing it really cleverly. I'm not sure if he owns that little network that does those channels, or if he's really just part of a collective, but it's definitely the way to do it. If you want to just churn out loads of content. So he's got about, is it 8 channels with different subjects? So if you get a researcher in each subject that can write you at least a half-assed script, and then you can paraphrase that, every day of the week you can just do one topic. You can pay somebody to do all the video mashing. You know, really mainly it's him to character, but they do cutaways to bits and pieces to stock footage. That's definitely the way to do it, because it's literally him in the same set talking in the same way, and it's just being a presenter. And I think that's definitely the way to do it. So I got distracted there briefly by Sam, because Dr. Sam says, "Help Dr. A, hit the thumbs up button." And in my head, I just always hear this voice which says, "Smash that like button and ring the bell to be part of the notification squad." There you go, ring that bell, part of the notification squad. And Dr. A's put out another crap video about a soldering iron. Oh, Carl Smallwood. Oh yeah, and Carl has a good channel in himself though, right? So he just must be really into the research. I think that Carl himself probably writes his scripts then. What's that? A treasure. So that's like an artifact. If you can get a villager to come and pick that up. Oh, it has to be a monk. Oh well, I'll forget about it. If they can pick that up, they do something like advance you to the next stage or let you build another wonder or something. I do like Carl Smallwood, so he's another one I haven't seen for a long time. Right, we've got to build way more hovels now. What the bloody buggery's going on? Look, I set them to be built and no one built them. Lazy bastards. Hey McBeam, how is it over there in the US of A? Cowboy country, New York.
Windy.
Windy. Oh yeah, it is windy. It's windy here too. Is it the same wind? Or is it a different wind? They got a double wind there if I recall.
I think it's different wind.
Fact Fiend. Oh, and today I found out. There you go. That's what you want though. If you wanna get ahead on YouTube, you should do Minecraft videos, Lego videos, fact videos. I find I watch a lot of fact videos because you can just turn your brain off, can't you? I'm gonna watch some fact videos now. Put them on in the background whilst looking at specialist material on Reddit.
Engineers gone wild.
That's exactly what I'm looking at always. I think Reddit has got some hilarious subreddits. I'm struggling to think of any at the moment, like particular names of them, but it is quite good.
Casual UK is a good one.
Oh, I like the Scottish one as well. What's that called? Scottish Internet, Scottish Reddit. How do I go in the bloody things? Does anybody know how you go in an outpost? Get in my outpost. That's Wellsall, that is. I don't know why they won't go in there. Oh, so I've got to get more grub. If I can get more food, then I can advance to the feudal age, and then you can start building castles. Oh, that was a trick in this, by the way. Because you can get loads of resources like wood, if I recall, it was best to build all your like wooden walls and wooden stuff like that, because when you advance to the next age, they'll be turned into stone equivalents, and that would be almost for free, right? Because it's just upgrading your wood to stone. So that way you didn't have to harvest loads and loads of stone. So yeah, I'm going to try that now. There's one of Gifts of Children falling over. I like Hold My Cosmo, Hold My Feeding Tube. No, 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 yes. Yes, 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 no. I like the thing they had the other day, which just shows an alligator, and it says, if ever you're afraid of an alligator, just watch this video. So when you see like the head of an alligator coming towards you, but underneath the water, it was all just limp in a really amusing pattern, just floating along. Worst one ever. Does anybody else? Ooh, I don't know. I have to have a look at that one.
Yeah, it's just awful. It's like, does anybody else notice how people's houses smell different? And then everyone's like, yeah, I noticed that.
That is true, right? You notice that though. You notice if someone's staying at your house, even they go, "Oh, my house has got a weird smell now to it." It is odd. Do you think that everybody in your household? Oh yeah, by the way, I'm eating some salmiakki pastils that Costado sent me, and they're nice but a bit salty. This is what I always wonder, like, do you think everybody in their household, their shite smells the same? That would be an interesting factoid. Because I've got this theory that maybe you all end up having the same bacteriological makeup as well in your guts. But I'm not a microbiologist, so I'm not sure if that's scientifically sound. But, you know, I don't know. I think you notice when people have young kids as well, their house smells like shite. But I'm not sure that ever goes away until your kids leave. They're always up to something. They're always putting some fluids on something. Come on, Mum. Does anybody else feel guilty after killing someone? That's quite topical now in the news. There's a lot of people killing each other.
Does anyone else reread messages or emails you've sent 1,000 times, especially if you've thought long and hard about how to get your point across?
Yeah.
Maybe not 1,000 times, but...
I tell you what, emails used to be a trigger for me. They probably still are, and used to wind me up. Because I used to see a lot of stupid emails that I'd be CC'd into and pass through my hands, which is really frustrating. And I got to the point though where I wouldn't reply right away, and I would agonise over a reply for an hour. I could waste half a day on a reply to an email, especially if it's got a legal connotation or something like that. And a lot of the time now I just ignore it. I just literally just delete the email and go, I'm not going to be bothered by it. And you know what? It doesn't have any difference in the outcome apart from I just don't feel stressed out about it. So yeah, just try not to get involved in other people's problems. Just not give a shit. Give a shit where you can make a difference. I think that's a good one. Did you ever rage write an email then, Asnifer, and then just give up on it and go, meh?
Yeah, I'm more about the passive-aggressive professionalism when it comes to shitty emails, I think. I don't really rage.
Yeah, it's... Oh, I don't know.
It depends who I'm emailing and where I sit in the company structure around them, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's trickier. I'm just trying to think of scenarios. I think sometimes you get dragged into things on purpose, and people drag you into things on purpose. And they do it because there's some particular energy you're bringing to the party, and even if that energy might be anger or come on now, let's knuckle down and sort this out. It's not necessarily pleasant, but you know, I guess some people sometimes you got to do it, right? Can you imagine being a debt collector? That must be a horrible energy all the time. You just have to be nasty the whole time. That's your whole job, being nasty.
You know, the wife went through a phase of watching that crap on television. Can't pay, we'll take it away. Just awful viewing. Awful. Yeah.
How many people were awful in it? Were the debt collectors awful, or were they portrayed as, you know, just doing their reasonable-ish job?
They try to be nice, I suppose, but at the end of the day, they're trying to come into someone's house and take their stuff away, so it's never going to have a happy ending.
Well, this is a problem, isn't it? Because a lot of the time, some of those people seem to borrow money with no intention of paying it back, or at least no concept of what is required to pay it back. And I kind of don't feel sorry for them. They just seem to have an attitude of entitlement, like, well, why should you? Why should I have to give you my stuff? It's like, well, you know, that was the arrangement, wasn't it?
It's probably about 50-50 on that program. There's people like that, and then there's just clueless people who don't realise to get into that position you have to have ignored court notices and not turned up and done all sorts. So yeah, people with their head in the sand, probably about 40% of the people on there. It's a bit sad.
I've had to help people sometimes with legal issues because of that, and companies that send out some of those basically sell the debt to the debt collection agency of something that might not even be a reasonable debt at all, like something actually quite trivial. It could be that you didn't return company property, or they didn't realise you'd returned it and didn't log it properly, and then the debt got sold. You'd moved out of your rental accommodation, so all the letters went somewhere else. So technically, by their rules, they followed all the steps, but you know, they didn't really chase you up. They didn't phone your mobile number, for example, to ask you to come and do this thing. And all of a sudden, you only know about it once that debt collector's hunted you down, because they're more motivated to try to hunt you down. And you think, what the hell's going on? How about, you know, this is the first time I've heard about this thing, sort of thing. So that's quite horrible. You've got to sort it out with the county court and all of that nonsense. But yeah, but I think a lot of people on those shows, though, are pretty much knowingly borrowing that money.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't watch them anymore. They're horrible.
I'm trying to think of what other. There's a lot of shows like that, aren't they? That I kind of. There was one I saw about, it was like in America, where the guy's coming to like reclaim aeroplanes. Don't know if you ever saw that.
No, I've seen that.
So that was crazy. So that people have loans on aeroplanes, and they're like proper like Learjets and stuff. And they just like won't pay the bills. So these bailiffs go and literally start up the planes and drive them off before anybody can come and get them. And it's fascinating. It's just like repatriating a car. And you know, they've got all the right paperwork when they go to the airfield or whatever. So look, we're the actual legit owners for this. We're reclaiming this. You know, we need a all these planes need jump starts, and they've got fuel leaks, so they're not necessarily like what you'd expect, because they've just been sitting maybe on the in a hangar or something for months, but these guys will still fly them. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, it's researching, that's why it's all interestingly coloured. Becky had a sofa to hide behind. Ooh, la-di-da! Peter, hello, Peter from Finland. Yeah, I don't know what these are called, though, because these are called TV pastels. They're very much... These ones are okay because they're slightly sweet, but I've definitely had them before where they really are horrible. But I do wish I had some... Is it Phaser? Of the licoricey type salmiakki. Those are the best ones. I could eat a lot of that. Enough to make my heart palpitate. So Asna, are you thinking of any new hobbies or resuming any old ones?
No, I've got about 10 to 15 projects all lined up that I just haven't got time to do. So one day in 20 years I'll start those.
You've got other things to worry about right now, though, don't you? You've got
yeah.
I think I got to venture out now here with my little dude, see where the bad guys actually are, so we can start having wars. Do you know what as a smell I remember though? It wasn't from my household, but it was from like a childminder's household. It was a lot of boiled stuff, like boiled cabbage, boiled meat, boiled. I remember a lot of boiled foods. And I remember from my household, and it wasn't that we had this all the time, but it was quite common that if you were frying something, it was deep fried. Sausages, deep fried. Anything like that, deep fried. Shove it in the oil. Chicken, shove it in the oil. It was fantastic. I don't know when we just all became so healthy and got rid of all those deep fat fries, but it'd be interesting to do the research to know, were they really that unhealthy? If you've got them turned up to full whack, so they're basically, you know, not soaking in the oil, they're just, you know, flash frying everything. Maybe they're not too bad.
I don't think I've ever deep fried anything. There was all those nightmare public service things with chip pan fires and stuff when I was younger, and it's kind of put me off it.
Oh, but you could get a Lecky deep fat fryer. We had all sorts. We had one which had a little rotating basket, so it only used half the oil, so it would dip them in and take them out, dip them in, keep the oil nice and hot. Yeah, they're all quite... one of them had a little tube as well in it that you could undo, and it was like a drain tube, so you could just drain the oil in a nice clean way as well. It's all quite sophisticated. I'm not sure if they're subject to chip pan fires, but I do remember them. What was it? You have to chuck a damp towel over it.
Yeah, that's right.
Chuck a damp towel over your head.
We got one of those instant pots recently.
Oh.
That's been life changing.
Is it the pressurized ones?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you like chuck your beans and your pulses in, or your pasta, and then you set it going, and then 5 minutes later everything's cooked. It's just ridiculous.
Before COVID, I got really much into. I got into the habit of picking up the kids from the bus and all of that, doing all the real kind of dad stuff. I like to say doing the real dad stuff, like the most minimum amount of dad stuff you can get away with. But I really liked cooking for them in the evening and all of that, and I kind of did like the idea of trying to make them something reasonably nutritious. And at the time, I was doing my Atkins or whatever I'd be doing, you know. I can't even remember. What do they call Atkins now? Keto. Yeah, keto. So good at the terminology. And oh yeah, Phaser's Turkish pepper, Peter. I do agree. And what I was doing is so I was buying loads of meat, filling the freezer full of meat. So I had a lot of frozen meat, and I was using that as well to prepare the kids' meals. So I would try to... I think I'd layer it in the pot. I can't really quite remember. So they'd have like the meat and vegetable or a salad or something like that. But I tried to cook everything all at once. And you're absolutely right. The difference between cooking a raw room temperature piece of meat and a frozen piece of meat is literally you add like an extra 2 minutes or something. It doesn't add a massive amount. Whereas if you cook it any other way, like I'm going to fry a steak, it's painful, isn't it? You have to wait everything to thaw out.
Yeah. No, this thing's good. It made a mushroom risotto in, I think, 6 minutes.
Oh, brilliant.
That was good.
I think it's pretty much the only way I like to eat steak now as well, is cooked in that. I like everything to have that, you know, like briskety texture where it's just soft and it like a stewed steak, like you get it in a pie. For me, I like that's how I like a slab of steak now. I'm not a steak snob enough. I need it cooked a particular way. That's the way. That's it. It's like an old person, isn't it? I want everything just cooked until it's soft. Malleable. So I think the risotto sounds good though. So do you just literally put the rice in and the stock on top and just like mushrooms on top, like layer it up in the pot?
Yeah, it's got like it's got a simmer function as well. So you put your water in, some oil in, and your onions and your base, if you like, and it simmers away for a few minutes and fries that all up. Then you stick your raw rice and your water in, your mushrooms, if you want, or they can go in a bit later. And then that's it. Some white wine, and then it goes. We don't have the cheese, so we use some nutritional yeast and some mustard to give it that umami flavour.
You could use a
And
bit
that's
of
it.
Marmite.
Yeah, yeah, we do often.
Marmite.
The wife hates Marmite, but she'll use it for cooking.
So Nigel says your dentures are wearing out. I think, yeah, they could be. Speaking of dentures, right? I've been thinking a lot about retirement and pensions and all that stuff. It's been forced upon me to think about such things. And you know what I've decided, though, is the biggest, best investment you can make in your 40s or late 30s, mid 30s, probably as early as possible, to be honest. It's in your later life. No, well, just assume you're going to do that. Is health, isn't it? You have to be healthy, as healthy as you can, because one, let's assume you're 40 or a bit older like me. You might have a couple of decades, maybe 2.5, 3 if you're lucky, right, of working life left. So you need to be healthy to be able to maximize on that, right? Because you need that income on whatever you're going to do, buying a house or going on holiday, whatever it is, you need that income. You need to be healthy to be earning it. That's a given. But also, it's going to minimize your necessity for medical intervention when you're older, or at least you're doing everything you can to minimize that, right? You might just have something freak, you could get cancer, you could get whatever, right? But you know that if you're living an unhealthy lifestyle, you're morbidly obese, you take a lot of alcohol, you smoke, you're definitely not doing it yourself favors, are you, in that later age? So yeah, I think for every, you know, how much does it cost for a pair of trainers? Even if you buy the most expensive trainers and tracksuits and pay for your boot camps and gym, right? Let's say your whole outgoing is like £100 a month on all of your junk, or even more. Let's say it's like £1,200 a year. I think you'll get that back in dividends. I think having a bit of a stroke when you're 60 or something, or 55. If at the time before you could say, look, you could spend £5,000 or 10 grand when you were younger, or not have this stroke, you'd probably go, yeah, I'd rather spend the 10 grand, please. Be able to run around with my grandkids. Especially if you've got aspirations of living abroad, right, as well, where you're not going to have NHS and all of that stuff to look after you.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have to sell your house and stuff. You get put in a home these days, don't you?
Well,
Pay
yeah.
for it.
No, it's not. I think you want to try to avoid being put in a home, don't you? That's
Yeah.
for sure. You want to have that sweet spot of living long enough to be healthy and active, and then just getting an aneurysm because you were doing like some jet skiing when you're 70. They'll go, yeah, he had a pretty good innings. He went out how he'd want to go out. And I was having a conversation just exactly this subject. I think it was today, about people getting obsessed with the last. You know, when someone passes, people always go, oh. And the last thing I said to him was, you know, please don't forget getting a loaf of bread. And they, oh, what a silly thing to say to someone just before they're going to die, right? Because you obviously didn't know they're going to die. And I was thinking, you know what? If I'm that guy with my brain exploding in an aneurysm or my heart valve collapsing, don't worry about it, because I can promise you the last thing in my mind in that scenario is me going through every person I know and going, what was the last thing they said to me? That wasn't very nice or meaningful. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. So Nigel, you've got all these stents. Oh my gosh. Is a stent that thing that they worm up your ventricles? Science, biology talk here. No, isn't a stent that thing that they push up you, and it's basically like a bit of tube? It's like a pipe that sits inside another pipe to stop that other, you know, your pipe. You've got a weak artery wall, or you've got a weak bit of tube in you, so they just shove in another bit of tube to make sure it doesn't pop. I'll await your reply. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just look around, because obviously RTS games are all about maintaining all of your workers, making sure they're not being lazy. I think it's time for war.
They haven't removed the micromanagement from this
No.
redux of the game, have they?
I'm not even sure. Didn't they used to have a thing that you could click to show you if a worker's idle? I'm not even sure they've got that. Because this,
I'm sure there used to be a keyboard shortcut that would cycle you through the idle workers. I'm sure there used to be one of those.
And I can't remember, how do you knock down a bit of wall and stuff? There's like a few things. Like these farms. There was a way, let me check here, to reseed farms. Is it the mill? Alright, here. Okay, so there's a queue there, a reseed queue, so I'm going to stock them up. So that would save you a bit of time at least. Right, I think I need a... I think you actually have to get a... Oh, that's it. You just push delete. That's it. That's a nice way of... You don't need a worker to take a building out. Should less than 1% flow through one of your heart arteries. 1%! Jesus. No London Marathon for you at that time, but I'm guessing you could smash one out now with 8 in you. So it sounds fairly perverted, Mr. PGT. All the pipes getting shoved in you. That's what medicine's about, getting pipes shoved in you and fluids pushed in and sucked out. Really? Your dad's heart was in backwards. Do you think it just flipped? So when it was growing, when it was like forming in the chest cavity, it got a bit of a twist on. So it just grew wrapped around. Like, what I'm saying is, were all the pipes twisted, or was just the whole body left to right?
You're saying pipes a lot.
Tubes, sorry.
Pipes, tubes.
Tubes,
pipes.
Tubes is better though, isn't it? Tubes is more scientific for the biology. A pipe implies it's made of like metal or rubber, which it might be if it's a stent.
Pipes was the poltergeist in BBC's Ghostwatch, if you remember that.
Was it really? Did he rattle the pipes?
He did, yeah.
I was having a little thought today about someone similar. Do you remember David Icke?
I do.
I kind of think, what's he up to now? He must be... This is the sort of globally pandemic things are the things they live for, isn't it? It's like, oh...
He's been kicked off most of the social media platforms now.
Really?
Because of the stuff he was saying about the COVID.
Was he saying it was 5G and all of that?
Yeah, all that nonsense.
When it started, right, people I knew... Or no, sorry, I knew, I still know them, but I'd somewhat respected, right? Really believed in that whole 5G thing. And I was just like, I just, you know, you just can't compute it in your head. It's like, you're a normal, reasonable person. How are you believing this? It's like me just going on YouTube now and just saying it's definitely down to 5G and just totally believing it, absolutely, and defending it, really defending it, and it just doesn't make sense, does it? Just, it's weird. Makes you worried in a way. Does it mean that anybody can get dragged to the kind of dark side?
I think if you have some technical knowledge and a bit of critical thinking, then maybe you do some research. But the problem is, researchers, as these conspiracy types call themselves, just their research is just reading dodgy blogs and Facebook posts.
Stuff off Reddit. Yeah, I think you could be right, actually. Ooh, I can build a stable. And I can build an archery range. Now that's when you're kicking up a notch in this game. McBeam's got a hole in his heart. There's a hole in my heart, it can only be filled by you. Who sang that, Adnova? Hole in my heart. I feel it would be someone like Extreme or a band of that nature. I'm not going to Google it.
I think it's probably Extreme. What was the guitarist's name? Nuno Betancourt.
Was that his name, really? Didn't another Red Hot Chili Pepper expire recently?
Really? I have to look that up. I think you're telling fibs.
I think I'm not. But have a look. Then you can publicly shame me.
What was this? Oh yeah, Jack Sherman. Oh, he played on the first album. That's before my time.
Oh, that sounds like me being right.
Yeah.
Reddit for the win.
You throw shit against the wall enough times, some of it's going to stick.
So I guess what we're saying, though, actually, just to sort of round off the conversation about critical thinking, was that people you know who are successful, who may be actual like medical doctors and whatever, or business people, otherwise successful people, can still be successful and do those things despite clearly being fuckwitted. Is that what we're saying? Worrying. You don't have to be sensible to do this job, but it helps. Brain surgeon. I won't gloat, Mr. PGT. I'm not going to gloat. You had a heart murmur. I always wonder what a murmur sounds like. Can I do an impression, I think, of a murmur? A murmur would be... It needs that little intake, actually. Is that a heart murmur? Is that the equivalent, the audible equivalent of a heart murmur?
I guess it's not.
It might be, though. How would you describe a murmur then? You could try an impression of a murmur.
Well, a murmur is just someone talking so quiet you can't hear them. So I'm not sure how that translates to a heart murmur.
Well, it would be like that then. But hello. But I've got a problem. But I've got a problem. But that would be creepy. Imagine your body stuff could actually talk, like your organs. Like Elon Musk, he put that brain thing that he's just announced, right? That brain interface, and as a result of that, all of your internal organs you can now communicate with them. It'd be like, you know what, my bowels would be going, I'm feeling awfully full of bread. Stop eating bread, please, and all that coffee with milk. But I tell you what, I haven't had a curry for a while. I'll forgive you if you just shove down a curry and Peshwari naan. That's what I would have, actually.
It does clean you out, a good curry.
You know what? When I was younger in university years, about 20 years ago, I would have said yes, but I don't think I have that curry has effect on me anymore. I don't remember the last time I ate a curry that's really given me that. And, you know, remember I eat those stupid spicy noodles, you know, the 2X or 3X or whatever the hell they are, the mind melting. I might even have some, I fancy now we're talking about. But yeah, I don't get that arsehole destruction. So I think I've just cleared out all of the taste buds in that area. They're just not reacting to it anymore.
What area? Your lower intestine.
Well, we already discussed how that we know that your bowels have some sort of taste mechanism. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're either not having it hot enough, or you need to change the type of chili that you're consuming. They move to like jalapenos or something. You eat a lot of those, and you'll feel that. downstairs.
Really, I'm going to up my intake or vary it a little bit. Have you ever tried any of those? Okay, I remember actually. I was given as a gift, one of those novelty sauces that had a little skull and crossbones on it and all of that. But it was really great. If you were cooking like a chili, you only needed like 2 drops of it and stuff like that. It was actually a fantastic product. And I can't remember what flavors it had in it, because it said, if it's like the ghost pepper or whatever, it said what type of pepper it is. So I wonder if it's a bit like Frank's hot sauce. You can get like different sauces and they're just made of a different pepper.
Yeah.
Nigel says, Dr. A, take it from me, you don't have to be bright to be successful. Well, I'll let you know if I'm ever successful. I could do maybe I'd like to think I am quite bright, so maybe that's it. Bright and unsuccessful will always be envious and critical of not bright and successful 5G COVID theorists. I guess it depends how you measure success, I suppose. Build trade cart. So when you have your curry, do you like to do the whole bit of the thing with the, what's that crunchy tortilla thing? You can tell I haven't been to an Indian forever. Poppadoms. And I like to, the little 4 things. I like you get the oniony one. Yeah. You get the little greeny one, hopefully. You get the...
The green one's like the mint sauce.
Mint sauce. You get the yogurty.
You usually get a pickle as well. Very chili, sour pickle.
Like a amber or whatever they call it. It could be a pickled, oh my god, mango pickle or lime or something like that. They all kind of taste the same once they're processed in that way. But I like the yogurty one. That's always got a bit of onion in it as well, hasn't it? I feel almost embarrassed now as somebody who's spent so much time in India as well.
I think they call that raita, don't they?
Raita, yes.
Raita.
It's a bit like tzatziki, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like
that. Lime pickle says Stevie boy 71. I got jars of that pickle. I do like it. If you get the lime pickle's good, the mango, and if you get, sometimes it has the actual whole fruit in it. It's got the stones kind of crushed up slightly. I quite like that, picking my way through a jar of that. Your dad taught you how to cook poppadoms? Becky, is that from scratch with a recipe? Are you doing it with a proper recipe? Because I'm quite impressed with that. I feel a poppadom's something that you make a ball, and it's like quite a dry, doughy ball, and you put a bit of flour and you do that a bit, and then you sit it in a pan like with a bit of oil, and it just, you leave it. It's like you don't touch it and it'll just cook, and if you touch it before it's cooked it'll just make a mess.
I don't think you use much oil actually. It's just the heat that enables them to bubble up.
I remember cooking something similar in India, and it was you had a batter, and the batter was made from the fermented rice. I can't for the life of me think what they're called, but it was different names. It's not the same names as the stuff we have in the restaurants here. It was all South Indian stuff, so I'm sure each location would have their own name for it.
We've still got a load of poppadoms that were smuggled back from Pakistan, along with mango pickle. It was made in Sindh province.
Oh, really?
It's like properly fermented though, so there's all sorts of interesting stuff going on inside it.
Why did you feel you had to smuggle it? I mean,
well, I didn't, but my mother-in-law is Pakistani, so it's kind of like they have family that go over there, and they always bring back food from home and that stuff.
See,
So,
that's a fascinating factoid. I didn't know that. I wouldn't have guessed it. It's not. I don't know. I would just make. I've made cultural assumptions there, haven't I? That's a modern day faux pas.
yeah, I guess so.
Like a super minor one. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool then. So you must have loads of good cooking going on.
Yeah. No, we have good dal and a good. Not so much since I stopped the eating the meat, but we used to have some really good food when I ate meat.
Because we always like I know you like have the vegan-y, vegetarian-y things, and it's like it's easy then. If you've got recipes from those cultures, it's way easier because you can still have really interesting and varied food without a lot of the ingredients that we'd be used to here. I said to my wife that since going off keto and onto carbs, so I've been in lockdown. I've more or less been half of lockdown was on keto, and then I went off that, and I've put on 7 kilos. I've got it measured out. 7 kilos put on, and I said, you know what's the worst bit about it is? That's 7 kilos put on eating shite like pies, pizza, crap chips. You know, like bread, white bread, crap sandwiches that I've been making myself. Yeah, it's not even weight put on eating something nice. You get me? You didn't. It's not a quality. You didn't eat like a quality thing. It's not like you had, some nice, like a kick-ass Yorkshire pudding, like one of those big-ass ones, full of gravy and meat and veg. You weren't eating that. You were just eating frozen chicken nuggets. You idiot. You squandered it. And that's it now. Diet for a whole year. Next year you maybe get another window of opportunity to eat what you want. You better bloody learn some recipes. Have your mushroom risotto. That would be good. I'd have loved that, actually. What could you do with that mushroom risotto? Do you reckon that if you put a bit of... how long does it take to cook normally when you were nuking it in that thing?
I think you set it to about 6 or 7 minutes, but then it has about 3 or 4 minutes of warm-up, pressure-up time before the timer starts going.
I think it's just a bit too quick to put a bit of chicken in. I think you'd have to put semi-cooked or cooked chicken in.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. You can cook a whole chicken in this Instant Pot if it's big enough, and I think it's done in like 15-20 minutes.
It doesn't take long, and it's really like boiled chicken. It's good. I like boiled chicken. But yeah, I don't know if I'd trust it sitting on that ricey boy, right? But then when you pop the lid off, you'd know right away if it was cooked or not, couldn't you, just from looking at it? It's not like you're going to salmonella yourself, if that's still a thing. I don't need Edwina curry and all that. That's like really old tech. Oh, prawn crackers, Becky, stop it. I could have been eating Chinese food. Couldn't I? I could have been squandering those calories on Chinese food and curries and some new types of food that I've never had before. I'm trying to think. Have you ever had Ethiopian food?
No.
It's really good. It's really like... It's like a big ass, like, like served on a... I don't know if it was served on a leaf. I feel it was served on a leaf like Southern Indian cuisine, but it's very much like that. Loads of little dishes, loads and loads of small dishes of really nice stuff, but it's I don't think you get many restaurants serving it, so it seems really alien.
There's a few in London, I think, Ethiopian places, or there were before lockdown.
Oh yeah, London's where you want to be, don't you? I imagine centre of London, centre of Manchester, all these places are probably really good for food.
I like a good Thai curry. Penang, maybe. I think that's my favourite.
When I was in Thailand, right, I don't know if I had any Thai food, which is amusing. I think I feel like I must have, right? But I think I ended up eating food from Japanese katsu curry chains, and they were genuine Japanese ones. I was looking on the internet. It's like big in Japan, like their version of McDonald's. So I couldn't really tell. Like, I really don't know whether or not a genuine what we have here is anything like what they have there.
No, probably not. Tastes bloody nice though.
I do need a bit of more lemongrass in my life, admittedly.
I've got some growing in the greenhouse at the allotment.
Really?
Some lemongrass. Not sure how big it's going to get. It just looks like grass growing in the greenhouse, but it'll either stay nice and small or it'll just take over.
So does it just grows like a bamboo or something? Does it?
Yeah, it kind of looks like tall couch grass. If you ever seen couch grass, it's like a weed, but it's not. It's lemongrass.
I don't think I'm not really that good on the horticulture. I think I might be able to just recognise basil or thyme and mint, chives.
Yeah.
Sea Cow says baked banana leaf in Bangkok. That's not a euphemism, is it? I'm trying to think what baked banana leaf would be. It was, I think it was an interesting place. I'd probably like to go back there as a tourist. I didn't really see any touristy stuff. Because I was staying in Sriracha, where the sauce comes from.
Oh, yeah.
That's
become very popular recently, hasn't it?
Oh,
Trendy.
I tell you what, you got to try this. I love this, and I got it from a Yo Sushi of all places because I always order off the menu in Yo Sushi because I realised I was doing it wrong all those years. And they do some chips there, and you know what they do? How to do it? You can do it at home. Make some chips, and I suggest do your own chips, right? However you do your own chips, and on your chips, put a bit of sweet chili. Put a bit of sriracha, right? Maybe in equal measure. Just drizzle on them, like a jizz on them. And then put some furikake, which is that Japanese dried seaweedy sesame seed ori nori nori stuff that you get in a bottle. And it makes chips amazing. It just makes them really interesting. And once you do that, every time you have chips, you have to prepare them that way. See you, McBeam. See us next time. But yeah, furikake, that's the trick. I don't know how you spell it properly, but that's how you pronounce it. Stop defending yourselves. There we go. Night night. Come on. Becky, that Star Wars reference there reminded me that I've started watching quite a lot of Star Wars lore on YouTube. There's all these channels of people who like to talk about Star Wars, talk about the movies, talk about all these weird facts that they've probably invented, theories, but it's quite good.
I had to jump into your stream and jump in because you were just talking about Yo Sushi chips. I
Yeah.
had some of them the other day and they were incredible. You just reminded me I need to find out how to make them.
Yeah, no, shall I get... I'm going to... remind me in the Discord and I'll send you all the ingredients. I'll tell you exactly what you need. You use Amazon. I'll give you the part number in Amazon, yeah, for each
my
item.
God. I'm well excited.
It's so good that somebody else actually acknowledges the chips.
Annoyingly, during lockdown, they haven't got that like the stuff that like moves on top. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Yeah, but my God, they're so good.
Once
We
you
literally went there yesterday, and I was just like, we had like 2 portions of those bad boys.
once you start making them at home, they're the only chips you're ever going to eat. I do warn you that now, because it's too easy to make them.
Well, nice. You've made me well happy now. I want those Amazon part numbers.
There's the one thing about it is that Japanese ingredient, the furikake. So you remember on the chips they've got all these weird bits on them.
Yeah.
That's that stuff. It looks really expensive. It comes in a little bottle like that, which is like 10 grams, and it would be like 12 quid. And you're like, oh my god! But you only use such a tiny amount that it's going to last you for like a year. Even if you're a heavy chip consumer.
I might become a heavy chip consumer with this stuff. It'll last a good couple of weeks for me, max.
Just pouring it down your mouth.
I'm going to let you carry on with your stream now. I just wanted to interrupt and spread the chip love.
Thank you for interrupting.
Carry on editing my video.
Thanks for that. Have a good
Much
evening.
love.
Bye. Spaghetti covered with cheese and pepper, Becky. That's the way to have it. I tell you what, I don't know about the soy sauce, right? But I will swap your soy sauce and I'll put butter. So just get spaghetti. It's the best pasta for it, isn't it? But I might try that flat one. I don't think it's fusilli. It's one of those other ones, a flat one that's like a ribbon, right? Not bows, the long ribbon. So yeah, the pasta, I put that on there. And on top of that, a big old wodge of butter, or even marge, whatever. Something that melts. It has to melt really melty so everything's all shiny in it. And on top of that, yeah, just pepper, milled pepper ideally, and cheese. Just loads of cheese. And if you can, I always like just maybe to do a little bit of that horrible Parmesan foot cheesy type stuff, but just a tiny bit of it, because it makes the normal... I like the cheddary goodness because it melts and does all that elongating, but then you need the just that bit of extra cheesification, and that's what you get from that Parmesan. But I'm wondering, what if you put a bit of Philadelphia in there just to put a bit of cream cheese? Soy sauce, Beck. I'll tell you what, I'm thinking of those Korean noodles. This is a lot of food talk here, and I've already had my tea. I'm gonna look just at home. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you have met me in person, but that is looking quite a chunky midriff for me, and I would really like to get rid of that. However, I did say that the whole diet and exercise thing starts tomorrow, so I do have an hour and a half nearly to get in there and start planning that massive Yorkshire pudding. God, this battle is taking ages. I don't think this... When I just starting this game, I don't think it was a... I'm not hungry. ZX Renew, I'm not hungry. I've not been hungry through the whole of lockdown. I promise you. I've not been hungry. I just eat. I'm not hungry. I don't need it. But I want it. So yeah, when I started this Age of Empires game, I don't think it was a mission one, because it definitely used to have like a mission one where you'd have to go here and go there and do something. This is just like literally human versus computer, very much in the same way that you just have a normal multiplayer battle. Right, I need horses. I'm going to just put an end to this bloody game. So knights are good. If we could build knights, that would be great. They're really expensive. Let's get a bunch of knights. We need to start taking out the bad guys, really. Oh, gold. We've got a lot of gold too. 999 gold. So Becky, what have you? If you haven't got cheese, you could. What else could I? You know what I do like as well? A bit of a guilty pleasure. I like. If I don't have any ingredients, I'll boil up some pasta and have it with ketchup. Just normal, regular tomato sauce. I think that's perfectly acceptable. Although Heinz do a curry sauce which I quite like a kind of a sweet curry. I wonder if we could do some fusion cuisine, the blending of pseudo-Indian food with pseudo-Italian food. Come on now. Let's just stockpile these bad guys. Let's get on with it. Improves your civilization, gives you more powerful military. That's what we want. Oh, 2 castle age buildings. So we need to build something else. So a castle age, we need to build... Oh, a castle. There we go. I think castle there. Ouvert. I don't remember things taking so long in this game, but it might have been possible to actually have a game. I'm gonna hit escape. It might be an option to set game speed. Interface game. There we go. Game scrolling speed. Game speed casual normal. That's probably why. Just running a little bit slower. Porridge. Porridge. So that's something in India they like, a lot of porridge, and they have it savoury as well. In fact, I think it's mainly savoury, so perhaps you could dig out a porridge recipe. Maybe Marmite porridge. That sounds like something that probably exists that shouldn't. Now we're turning out these knights. Good. God, you can create knights really fast. Gonna need to build some more ohms. Ouvert. Oh, the castle's nearly half finished. I suspect all of these units, again, like the walls, I think the units might be better. Although those didn't turn into walls, even though I've got stones, so yeah. Becky, I just got a thought for you about your porridge. Why don't you have it with a squiz of maple effect syrup? Whiskey. Is that how they have it in Scotland? Porridge and whiskey. I feel it needs something else there, a lump of something melted into it. Oh, what about a wodge of Cadbury's chocolate? Porridge with a knob of chocolate in it. Oh, bad guys. He didn't last very long. But he lasted longer than you think he ought to have bloody lasted. Hey ya, hey ya. Teutonic. Alright, guys. Come on, let's do some war. The war boys. Oh my god, is there a... Someone check this out for me. Is there any really good Mad Max game? I reckon there should be an RTS for Mad Max. That would be the balls, wouldn't it? And it's like now I'm like, I want to build me some war boys. And you need to upgrade to a war rig, and it would work. Yeah, take that, lion face. You leave it to us, dear. There we go. Let's get going. It's been a long time, Becky, since I've been any sort of a drinker. I promise you, it's probably like 15 years, maybe more. I'm almost a teetotaler, but not like because of anything. Apart from that, I love drinking pop too much. I'm absolutely addicted to pop when I'm not trying not to be. And I think my favourite pop is probably orange. I like the orange pop. And this is the quality content you get on this type of stream. What kind of pop do you like? I like Coca-Cola. I used to be an interest, like I was going to say interesting, not really interesting, but I used to really be into Pepsi, but now hardly ever have it. I think it all became all the Diet Coke. That was it. Diet Coke break. Right, let's try not to have too much attrition here. I'm just attacking outbuildings because I just want to elicit a response from their units so I can try to pick them off. But these guys will sap you. If you're not careful, those little guys, they'll sap your army so that you'll just lose that effective fighting force. Because when you start to try to get the town hall, for example, the town hall actually fires arrows at you, so you're actually going to be damaged. So you need... Look, see, they're running to the town hall. I'm just going to... Don't follow them, basically. So what happens is, you ring a bell, and it gets all your villagers in the town halls, and for every villager that is in your town hall, that maximises the amount of arrows that they can chuck at you. So I'm just making an arse of myself, basically, by trying to kill as many of their villagers and workers, because then that'll stop them being able to make money. If you can't make money, you can't do anything. See how quickly you can just take out their... I should have more people here. Yes, I do. Enter the fray. Oops. You look away for one moment. There are also some of these ultra-realistic war games where you play Romans and stuff, and it's all in 3D and you have battle lines. Those look quite cool. Come on, come on. Let's see what damage you can do. Yes. Yes, yes, yeah. Come on, come on. This is how we do it. So Sam, you used to have Pepsi in the 80s. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I've got a thing where I really like diet drinks. So when I'm drinking this orange soda, it's always diet everything. And it's... Okay, calories-wise, great. But the reason is, I don't like the stickiness anymore. I don't like sugary drinks. You spill them on yourself, you get that syrupy, sugary stuff on you, all sticky. The wasps are all wanting to have some of that goodness. Woo! There we go. Wow. What an adventure. That was good. I'm really glad I came on the stream, gave you a little thing. Teutonic victory! Woohoo! So what I'd like to do, obviously I'm going to sign off now, but before I sign off, if you've got the opportunity to do it, by the way, I bought this in Tab Clear. What a crap drink. I bought this on the Xbox Live thing for the PC. I can't remember what it's called. You can Google it. And at the moment, they're doing the first month is £1 and then £3.99 per month after that. And when you do that, you've got access to their library, which includes Flight Simulator 2020, which I already downloaded, and a bunch of other games which don't work because I've got to upgrade my graphics card. But this is one of those games that you can get. There's loads of games. But honestly, if you're not aware of it, have a look, because it could be a good option to you, because I know it's about £30 a year when you work it out. And I don't know, I think when you cancel it, you might lose access to those games. They rotate them. It's like a video rental. But in all honesty, I've got so many games in my Steam shop that I don't play. I'm not really that bothered about owning them. I guess I don't really feel like I need to own them anymore, because I just play them for like 2 minutes and shut them down. I know Daniel, DJ Slopes, was just in here. He's probably got a massive collection of virtual games. There's something about, if you're a collector of retro stuff, computers, things, the virtual games don't mean anything. So why do you need them? You could just play them, unless you're really keen on your save game. Most of the time you're not, because you've forgotten how to play it and you start from the beginning anyway. Yeah, the rental thing actually seems to work out quite well. So consider it. I'm not under commission from Microsoft, so don't worry about that. And yeah, look out for Saturday. There's a really interesting video. If you see that, please hit the bell, all that usual stuff on it. It's not a sponsored video, but I would like to have a good impression for those people who have worked with me on it, and that would really help me out. So thank you. Have a good night. Have a really great Friday tomorrow, and have a good weekend beyond that. And as ever, thank you for watching.